I think I have the thumbs up. I think we're ready to go. So thanks again for bearing with us. We're so glad you're here and that you stuck around. It's no surprise, especially this time of year. Everywhere you go, you're just bombarded with weight loss advice. And while parking the car a little further away or skipping dessert every now and then, those are good, healthy things to do. But the problem is that they're just really not going to move the needle very much on their own. And what we really need is some kind of a jump start, something that's going to motivate us to stick with the changes that we know are good for us in the long run. We need a weight loss solution that's efficient enough that we really begin to feel the effects, not in weeks or months, but really in days. So again, hi, welcome. We're all about juicing tonight, and particularly juicing for weight loss. That's what we're all about here at Reboot with Joe. We've helped thousands of people lose weight through eating a plant-based diet, which includes fruit and vegetable juices. And the people in our programs get so excited when, in just a short amount of time, they begin to see significant changes in their body, and the kind of changes that really motivate you to continue making those healthy choices and really help you meet your goals. And I have a few examples from the reviews on our website. Gayla, she lost 10 pounds in 15 days, says that her energy and her skin have improved. Christian lost 15 pounds in 30 days, says he's never felt better. Deb lost 21 pounds and says she feels healthy, light, and in control. Vineet says it's an amazing experience. I lost 11 pounds in 15 days. And these are not particularly unusual stories. We read them every day in the reviews that are posted on our website, and you can read them. I encourage you to read them yourselves. You can spend hours doing it. They're so inspiring. Our inspiration comes from Joe Cross. He's an Australian businessman, now a filmmaker. But by his own account, he was fat, sick, and nearly dead when he discovered juicing. He lost 100 pounds through 60 days of drinking nothing but fruit and vegetable juice, followed by another 3 months of eating a plant-based diet. He documented his journey in the film Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, which I'm sure some of you have seen. If you haven't, please visit our website. You can watch it for free. And he formed this company, Reboot with Joe, to help you follow in his footsteps, lose weight, feel better, perhaps reduce some of your medications, working, of course, with your doctor, and to really regain control of your own health. I'm Christine Fritchen. I'm the editorial director here at Reboot with Joe, and with me is Stacy Kennedy. Stacy is our lead nutritionist and a member of our medical advisory board. She has a very long list of credentials. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree in dietetics from Indiana University and a master's degree in public health from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. She is senior clinical nutritionist for oncology at a major Boston hospital, and you may recognize Stacy from Joe's film Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, where she is featured. Stacy is also one of our team of 6 nutritionists that lead our guided reboot programs. Now, these are 15, 30, and 60-day programs conducted online in a small group. And Stacy and her colleagues work individually with each person so that they get the most out of that weight loss program and meet their health goals. Stacy personally developed our 60-day guided reboot for those with hypothyroid and Hashimoto's. And we also offer a specially designed program for those with type 2 diabetes and prediabetes. So after that long introduction, welcome, Stacy.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. Thank you all so much.
Right, so we're going to spend our remaining time, about 30 minutes or so, talking about the many potential benefits of drinking fruit and vegetable juices, and why juicing, as a major part of a plant-based diet, can help you lose weight. And we're going to also hear from some real people who have lost weight and kept it off by including juicing as part of their overall weight loss strategy. And stick around because we are giving away a brand new Breville juicer, and we'll be announcing the winner of that juicer at the end of our webinar. And don't worry, I know we've had some technical problems. If you have further problems seeing, hearing, anything like that, we are going to email you the link to where you can watch the recorded webinar later. So if you missed part of it or want to rewatch or listen again to something, don't worry, you'll be able to do that. We'll send that link around tomorrow. So let's get going. Stacy, Why juice? That's the big question. What is the advantage of juicing over any other type of weight loss program?
Absolutely. So I think one of the benefits is really the strong focus on the plant-based diet and increasing your intake of vegetables and fruits, because that is really key for health as well as for helping you to lose weight when you're replacing kind of that standard high-calorie beverage that many people have in the morning with a lot of added sugar, other processed ingredients. So swapping out that sort of, high-calorie breakfast or lunch with a fresh juice can really be something that can help with weight loss simply from cutting your calorie intake, but you're also flooding your system with nutrients. And so kind of the experience of it can be very different and much better.
So it's not a deprivation diet because you're actually getting the nutrients that your body needs and craves, but you're getting it in liquid form.
Absolutely, and there are a lot of ways for individuals to customize their juice because everybody has different needs. So if you do have an issue, let's say with diabetes, and you need to watch the amount of even natural sugar in your juice, there's strategies for that, and that's how the program that we have was constructed, is to make the juices less full of sugar and even adding things in that may help balance that, like protein, for example. So juicing is often more than what we assume it could be.
So in Joe's film, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, he calls what he did a reboot. So talk to me, what exactly is a reboot? What are we calling that process?
Right, so it's basically a defined period of time when you're committing to consuming just vegetables and fruits. So that will include juice. For some people, it's not all juice. They also include salads or snacking on carrot sticks. But really getting that juicer out and up and running and increasing your volume of produce is something that the Reboot is all about.
So the big money question is, does it work? Okay, it worked for the guy in the movie. He lost 100 pounds, but he also had a film crew following him around. So what I want to know is it going to work for me? That's really the big question.
Well, the great thing is that we have heard from thousands of people around the world over the years that it absolutely has helped. It's clearly not a forever solution. I mean, even for Joe, he followed up his juicing experience, which he worked closely with a doctor on, with 3 months of eating a plant-based diet, and he still eats a predominantly plant-based diet. So it's really something that can be effective a little bit more quickly in the beginning because it's such a deviation from that standard American diet. And having that weight come off a little faster at first in research has been shown to help promote sticking with it longer and in the end losing more weight closer to your goal.
Yeah, I just read that article in the U.S. News and World Report. They do a list of best diets every year, and there were several diets on the list that really promoted quick weight loss. Right. And there's really a connection between an initial positive result and the ability to go stick with the diet in the short term and in the long term.
Absolutely. I think the trick is really kind of a smart quick, because when you say rapid weight loss, coming from more of a healthcare background, that doesn't sound too positive. Sounds like a yo-yo. But the truth of the matter is that it doesn't have to be. And I think that the emphasis on the plant-based diet and doing it in a smart way, working with your doctor, can really kind of capitalize on that initial jump start to really motivate you to keep going.
Well, you can listen. We can talk about this all day, but we'd really like to be able to hear from a couple of people who've done it on their own and are here to tell us about it. First, we're going to talk to Debbie Tudor.
Hi, Stacy. Hi,
Debbie
Christine.
is from New Lenox, Illinois. She participated in a 15-day guided reboot. Debbie, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Are you there, Debbie?
Yes, I am.
Great.
I can hear you okay.
Thanks for joining us, Debbie.
Yes.
Oh, terrific. Okay, you tell me a great story about how you first learned about our guided reboot. Can you share that with us?
Yes.
Great. Thanks for joining us, Debbie.
You can hear me now? Great. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay, we've got you now.
Okay, so I went to my annual exam with my doctor, and having high blood pressure, being the heaviest weight that I had been in my life, he wrote on a prescription pad for me to watch this documentary that he had watched called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. So I watched it, watched part one, watched it a few times, and then I watched part two. And after reading the documentary, his book, decided to download some of the information from the website on Reboot.jo and followed the plan, the 15-day plan. Had great results on my own. Did this for about 6 months, and in November decided to do a guided reboot. And Stacy, you were my coach, and had wonderful results, amazing results. And the plan is very easy to follow. I was very satisfied with that, and I did great.
So tell me a little bit about the difference, because you tried rebooting on your own. You know, you
Yes.
had the books and you watched the movie, and you did it on your own for some time, and then you did a guided reboot. What was the difference between the two experiences for you?
Well, with the guided reboot, you have a group. You have your support there. You are able to go online and communicate with the coach. We had the weekly webinars, and also the other participants that were in the group. You were able to communicate with them, and just talk about how you're feeling.
It sounds like that was a big component of your success. Would you agree?
Yes, yes, just feeling accountable for following the plan and keeping with it.
We hear that a lot from people, that accountability factor. You know, knowing that other people are expecting you to succeed, and you're expecting it from them. So you really
Right.
you lean on each other a little bit.
Exactly, exactly.
And I know you enjoyed talking to the others in your group. I think you told me you're actually still in contact with a few people.
Yes, yes. Yeah, we email. I have two girls that we email with, and the one we're Facebook friends now, so we talk back and forth and just keep encouraging each other to keep going and keep with it.
And how much weight did you lose total in your guided reboot, Debbie?
My guided reboot, I lost 17 pounds in the 15 days.
Wow, that's terrific.
Yes.
And you
And then,
feel good?
yes, yes. I'm still losing. Almost at 50 pounds total since I started the whole
Wow.
reboot process.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's exciting. My
Oh,
lab work is
Debbie,
improved.
Debbie, thank you so much. Keep drinking the green juice, okay? I'm going to toast you later. And you
Sounds
can
good.
read more about Debbie's story on our website. It's rebootwithjo.com. We have a whole section for success stories, and Debbie's story is featured there as well. Now, next, down at the bottom of your screen, we'd like to speak with Janet Seiki. Janet's from Simi Valley, California, and she also signed up for a 15-day guided reboot. In fact, she did 2 of them. She enjoyed it so much. Janet, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, hi. And Janet, you also know Stacy.
Yes, I love Stace. She was my guided reboot coach in November.
Janet, you also had a kind of a fun story about how you got involved in a reboot. I call it a duel. You had a friend, right?
Yes, my friend spurred me on to watch Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and I watched it, and I completely ignored it because I wasn't ready. And then he kept at me and kept at me. And at that time, he was 30 pounds down. And he told me to watch the second one, so I watched the second one, and I don't want to get too emotional, but I grabbed all the junk chip food and all of that stuff, and I smashed it up, and I called my husband and let him know, I promise this is the last time that I'm going to financially crunch our family for a diet. And Joe's not that expensive, but that's the last thing your husband wants to hear is, oh, great, you're going to spend more money on something and fail. And I'm proud to say I'm not failing. I keep moving forward, and I'm eating healthier. And then my friend, he's down 100 pounds now from from following Joe Cross.
Wow.
And everything that you guys have
And
inspired.
you have such an emotional connection to Joe's story, and that's really what people respond to in the film, because he's an ordinary guy. He has the same problems that everyone has. He had a autoimmune disease. He was overweight mainly through his own fault. Eating a lot of junk he knew he shouldn't be eating. He tried a lot of diets in the past, and for him, finding juicing really gave him the control that he needed to find again, the control and the mastery over his own body that he felt that he'd lost. And that feeling really resonates with people, and I know that it did with you. And you've done 2 guided reboots.
Yes.
Did you lose weight?
Yes. Combined with the 25 pounds, and then I just did the 5-day juice challenge to take off the couple pounds that I gained over Christmas. But
And did you have any other health changes other than the weight loss?
excuse me. Yes. Skin has cleared up quite a bit. Oh, ton more energy. I'm off caffeine completely.
Yay.
But I know, right? Battled a embarrassingly toenail fungus, but my toenail actually started growing back.
Oh.
So that's a wonderful thing.
Oh yeah, you don't have to ask for the 9-toe discount at the manicure place anymore. You can actually do all 10. So you touched on this briefly just a moment ago, but I do guided reboots. They cost money, and we'll talk about that more a little bit later. But tell me about the value. I mean, was it money well spent? That's what people want to know.
Absolutely, because I've been battling my weight since I was 10, and I've spent tons of money on things that were just, you drop that 15 pounds and then you go back to the same old habits. And I feel like for the first time in my life I have control for myself. I don't have to stress out about going to any weigh-ins or, someone looking down on me if I gained a pound back or something. It's all me. It's all in my control and what I choose to put in my body. And Joe and the Reboot crew are not there to shake their finger at you. As a matter of fact, there's 2 pages in the book that I absolutely love, and it levels the playing field for being human. It's page 191 where I ate food and failed, and Joe is saying if you're eating fruits and vegetables while you're on your reboot, then you're not failing. So it's huge. And then page 55 where reboot is not a quick fixed diet just to lose weight. It's the first step in changing your relationship with food, and that's absolutely the way I feel. I absolutely feel freedom. I love it. And like I said, I did the 2 reboots, gained a little bit back at the holidays because got a little free.
You gotta have a cookie.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you gotta have a cookie.
Yeah, right. And then I did the 5-day juice challenge, and it came right back off, and I feel great. And I got to make that decision, and I don't know. The reboot is huge. I think if you're even on the edge of thinking about doing it, just do it. It's worth the money. It helps you to figure out the plan. You don't feel left alone. You're not left alone. I mean, Stacy is there if you get to have Stace. They're talking you through it. They're reaffirming you. You never feel any shame or guilt. You're just learning a whole new way to attack the food industry and what you're putting into your body and controlling your life.
It's well said, Janet. And you've really touched on one of the big benefits of a guided reboot, and we hear this from other people as well, that our nutritionists really explain the how and the why of what's going on in your body, and that really empowers you to take back that control and feel that you're no longer at the mercy of your cravings.
Yay!
Now these are not 2, and thank you so much, Janet.
Thank you.
Now these are not 2 isolated stories. Our guided reboot programs get reviews like this all the time, and each person has a really unique set of issues that they feel a reboot helped them improve. You can find out more about those success stories on our website, rebootwithjoe.com. So I want to get back to you, Stacy. let's talk for a few minutes about strategy. Okay, you've got me. I've decided I'm going to try juicing, and I hear that you have 5 tips for success. So let's talk about those. The first one here is, even though you're drinking 4 to 6 juices a day, you still need to drink water. Why is that?
Yes, that's absolutely true. So our body is 70% water. Many of us walk around all the time not drinking enough water. So even though you're drinking juice, we still need that additional hydration for energy, for digestion, for everything for metabolism, everything that water does for us. So
how much water, just sort of as a ballpark, should I be drinking in addition to my juice?
Sure. So, it really varies depending on the person, but it's about 48 to 64 ounces, or about 1.5 liters to 2 liters. So, maybe a little bit under what you would normally drink, but if you're doing any kind of exercise during your reboot, then aim more for that 64 ounces.
Okay, makes sense. Number 2, add electrolytes. Okay, first of all, what are electrolytes and why do we need them?
Sure, so electrolytes are important nutrients that we've all heard of, things like sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and they play really important roles in every cell in our body. So keeping your heart beating and your nerves contracting, your blood flowing, all of that. So electrolytes are really key for blood pressure and for energy. So during the reboot, typically the standard American diet is so high in sodium that when you cut that out, we want to make sure that we're getting enough. So drinking something like unsweetened coconut water or maple water or organic vegetable broth, which you can also make yourself out of the pulp, that can really help make a big difference in getting those electrolytes and preventing some of the symptoms people report in the early days of their reboot, like fatigue, headache. There could be many factors, but often it's not getting enough electrolytes.
Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, number 3, use the 80-20 guideline. That's 80% vegetables to 20% fruit. What exactly does that mean?
Right, so it's kind of in a way of approximating balancing your juice to have less natural sugar. So fruit is healthy, but we don't want to be drinking juice that's only made from fruits. We want it to be mostly vegetables. So if you were to look at your starting ingredients on your cutting board, you would want about 80% to be vegetables and about 20% to be fruits, which typically comes out to up to 1 serving of fruit per 16 to 20 ounce juice. Now, having 6 of those a day, 6 fruits, can, for some people, still be too much. So many vegetables that we say are vegetables are actually fruits. So you could use something like a tomato, and we would say that that's a vegetable, even though in a technical sense it's fruit.
Right. So what about someone that has prediabetes or diabetes that really needs to watch their blood sugar? Would they use the same ratio or cut down on the sugar on the fruits a little bit more?
It would depend. I mean, I think for most people where their average sugar intake is, because we have to remember that, even wine is sort of sugar, basically.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of places that sugar creeps into our diet. In fact, it's part of the dietary guidelines for Americans to cut down on sugar. So they may want to do even less than the 80-20, but even starting at the 80-20 is a good place to start. And then for someone who's pre-diabetic or has diabetes, you're going to be working with your doctor during this, so they can advise you more specifically, but adding things like protein into your juice, there are a lot of strategies to help keep that sugar under control. And what we've heard from rebooters is that they've had great benefits. So even though, a criticism is often that it has too much sugar, we've seen so many people report that for them it's been incredibly healthy and beneficial.
That's great. And our guided reboot program for diabetes, that's really hones in on those issues that are specific to that group of people. Number 4, keep a journal and track your progress. Why is that helpful?
Right, so we know that accountability plays a big role in the success of long-term weight loss. Research has shown that. But keeping a journal and tracking your own progress isn't meant to be punishment or to point out all the things that you're doing wrong, kind of like what Janet was saying. It's not about pointing fingers. It's actually about giving yourself credit for the things that you're doing well. We often just blow right by that and go to the little piece where we feel like, we screwed up. And like Janet said, eating raw fruits and vegetables during your reboot is obviously something that's not bad at all. That's still very healthy for you. So I think the journaling can help you see that progress that you're making and take forward.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And number 5, people who find support and encourage. You want to find people who support and encourage what you're doing. So why is that important? Some kind of a support system.
Absolutely. So again, that's another key behavior that has emotional and sort of psychological benefits, but really has a lot of physiological benefits too. Having that support can help keep you on track and help you stick with the program, and also kind of be that bridge for after the reboot to the long-term success. So like we heard Debbie say that she's now Facebook friends and emails with other members that were in our guided reboot group. That ongoing support is really going to help Debbie's ongoing success. She has continued to lose weight after her reboot ended, and I feel like that support is critical.
Yeah, and that's really a testament to the life-changing abilities of this program, whether you're doing it on your own or whether you try one of our guided reboots. Now let's talk a little bit about cost. Our 15-day guided reboot costs $149. The 30-day is $289, and the 60-day programs, there's one for diabetes and there's one for thyroid, and those are $499. So that's a chunk of change, and I'd like to know what I'm going to get for that.
Yes, absolutely. So there's a lot of tangible things that you get, but what you are also getting is an experienced expert coach like me. And normally, if you were to pay for an individual session with a dietitian or a nutritionist and you were paying for that out of pocket, it could cost that $150 for the one session as opposed to that for the entire 15 days. You also get meal plans, shopping lists, and recipes that you get to keep, and you have forever access to your website for your group. So, Debbie's connected and Janet stay connected through other kinds of social media, but through their Reboot group page, they can all stay connected indefinitely as well.
And tell me about the webinars. I know I've seen people comment quite a bit that the webinars were really helpful. So what are those?
Yeah, so the webinars are great. It's kind of like this, but I'd already know more about each of you from reading. Everybody fills out an intake survey, so your coach knows a lot about you to begin with. So you get that personalized attention, but the webinars are really fun. It's a great way for the group to connect and get to know each other, and they're very interactive. So there's an educational component where we talk and learn about nutrition and health and wellness, but within that, we're sharing back and forth. I do poll questions. So it's kind of like going to a class where you get to learn something new and something about yourself, but with some really close friends. And it really does feel very connected. By the end, the groups, everybody seems to know each other. And the webinar is such a great place. And if you can't make it live, you can actually replay that recording anytime you want, or if you just want to go back and watch. So, we try to time things where it works for everyone, but we have people all over the world. So sometimes if it's 9 p.m. here, it's 2 a.m. where somebody might be. Sleep is important. We don't want you waking up in the middle of the night to join us live. We'll miss you, but we'll catch you on the replay.
Well, if you are interested in trying a guided reboot, and I hope that you are, I'm happy to share a special offer, and this is only for people who signed up to attend this webinar right here, right now, today. From now through the end of the month, January 31st, you can get $25 off any guided reboot. Doesn't matter which one, doesn't matter how long it is, $25 right off the top. You just use the code WEBINAR when you check out, and this is really a phenomenal way to get your new year off to the right start. I know when I started going back to the gym after January 1st, it's like the whole place is heaving full of people, and by the third week, where have they gone? This is typically at the point for a New Year's resolution where people start to drop off. So don't let that happen. Or maybe you never really quite got started on your resolution this year, but this is now your chance to really kick it off right and make sure that you meet your goals. Make 2016 the last year that you have to make that New Year's resolution to start another diet. Now you're going to find more information on all of our plans on our website. Again, it's rebootwithjoe.com. You probably know it by now. We do have some upcoming sessions I want to tell you about. Our next 15-day session begins January 27th. And we have a 30-day program that actually started today. So we are going to hold, just for you guys, we're going to hold that open for another 24 hours. So you'll miss one day, but you really won't miss too much. And if you want to get started now, that's a great way to do it. Our 60-day program for those with type 2 diabetes and pre-diabetes begins February 12th. And then if you struggle with hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's, our 60-day reboot for those conditions will start March 14th. And then, of course, there are more sessions available online. Those are just the next ones that are coming up. So now we're going to answer some common questions, and then right after that we'll be giving away our juicer, so you can start whipping up some green juice on your own. So, Stacy, we're going to do kind of like lightning round style so we can get to a bunch of questions. All right. Can I use a blender instead of a juicer?
So yes, absolutely you can, but it is a different process, much more labor intensive. You would have to change the recipes, but we really do want people to get started. So if you have a blender and you plan to purchase a juicer, just start, and then you'll work into probably wanting a juicer soon enough.
That makes sense. Okay, juices, we've already talked about this a little bit. You know, juices have way too much sugar. Isn't that bad for me? Sugar's bad, right?
So this is such a confusing topic right now. It's really excess sugar and added sugar. So for example, you know, foods that we think are healthy, like yogurt, might be plain and only have the sugar from the dairy, or they may have 20 grams of sugar added to them, and it's very hard to tell. When you're on your reboot, all of that sugar is natural from fruit. So we don't want to go overboard, because too much, even of a good thing, maybe isn't so good for everyone. But it's all about striking that balance. And fruit is healthy. There are antioxidants and many other important compounds, so we don't want to say goodbye to them.
Yeah, makes sense. But when I be hungry, I mean, all I'm doing is drinking stuff.
This is something that's really incredible to hear from people, is that generally they're not that hungry. I think the volume of liquid can help, right? You're drinking a lot of water, you're drinking a lot of juice, but those nutrients that are coming in from your juice can really help with energy. And also, if you are hungry, you can snack on a raw fruit or raw vegetable to kind of help fill in the gaps, and that's not going to do anything negative.
Yeah, and that's good if I miss chewing, because
yes.
Sometimes you just got to chew something.
Okay.
I'm really busy. We hear this one a lot. I don't think I have time for a guided reboot. I mean, I can't find a 15-day period where I don't have a party to go to, or a social event, or a work luncheon, or a vacation. So how do I manage those things?
Yeah, actually, in the polls that I like to do during the webinars, I often ask what barriers or concerns, and you can see the percentage of responses, and generally that's actually the highest concern. The greatest response is people having concerns about that everyday life. So everyone does something different, right? If you can bring your juice with you and talk about what you're doing, that's very much encouraged. If you drink your juice before you go and then have herbal tea or whatever might be available at your restaurant or at your work event, you can go for that. And that's where those raw fruits and vegetables can really help, because sometimes that helps get you through. But a lot of times, once people are into it, they're okay with drinking their juice before and after, and actually getting to spend more time socializing and focusing less on the food and more on work or on the social benefit and connection.
Yeah, it's related to that as a comment that we hear from people sometimes, is that their cooking routine's a lot easier. You don't realize how much time you spend during the day figuring out, what am I going to have for breakfast? What about a snack? How about lunch? How about dinner? What am I going to pack to, for lunch today? What leftovers do I have? All of that kind of goes away, and you actually have all this extra time in your day where you're not having to think about what you're going to eat for the next meal, because you've got your juice already there.
Exactly. You can go on a walk and enjoy it.
Yeah. I know you all have lots of other questions that we haven't gotten to. There are plenty of answers on our website, and you can also ask us questions on our Facebook page. Now that's, if you go to Facebook, search for Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, you will find us. You can also drop us an email, and that address is juicing@rebootwithjoe.com. Just juicing, just as it sounds, JUICING @rebootwithjoe.com. Ask us any questions, and we'll get back to you right away. So we have a juicer to give away. Thanks for sticking around. And where's my winner, Jen? Who do I have? Janine Makoko. Janine, you have won a brand new Breville juicer. It's a $150 juicer, and we're going to send you an email, and we'll get that right out to you. Congratulations on that. Thank you so much for sticking with us through our little technical foibles. Thank you for being here. Please visit the website for recipes, more information, tips from our nutritionists, which are amazing, like Stacy and all of our other nutritionists are constantly writing free advice for people who are interested in juicing or just interested in nutrition in general. And there's, of course, lots more information on our guided reboot programs. And don't forget to claim your discount. Again, that's use the code WEBINAR, $25 off any guided reboot program through the end of the month, January 31st. Have a wonderful evening, and as Joe would say, juice on.
Hi, thank you.